Hello, you amazing, beautiful people. How are you doing? Welcome back to another Honkai Monday, kind of, Hoyoverse Monday. This has been recommended for quite a while now. I do like doing these guide videos. We did some for Genshin back in the day, and this one just keeps popping up in my recommendations, and I think it is a good time for us to do this. I am looking to maybe doing some concerts, maybe. I might test it. I think it's a vocal minority thing. I think a few people want me to do reactions to concerts. They're like 2 hours long. They're quite big videos to do. It's going to take a lot of work. I don't know how I'm going to do it. I don't think I will have the time to do 1 2 hour long video. I don't think people realize, like, I don't have that kind of time. That's kind of difficult to sort out. Because I do 4 videos a day, minimum. And I'm usually doing more than that. That includes the second channel, the main channel, the editing, and the uploads, and everything around it. So, and then streaming. I don't think I have time to record a 2 hour long video, edit the 2 hour long video, process it, upload it. That'd take an entire day on its own. So I don't know. But I'm gonna look into it. A lot of people have been asking for it. I just got this funny feeling because we've tried the longer videos before in the past with certain concert videos and stuff like that, and they never do that well. So but if you guys are really asking for it, the channel is controlled by the viewer. So if you guys are asking for it, we'll give them a go. But for now, this has easily been the most requested, and that is a beginner's guide to the lore of Honkai Star Rail. And I think this would be kind of cool because I'm sort of teetering on the edge of maybe playing this game soon. We've been playing Elden Ring on stream. But after, we play a little bit more of Elden Ring, we might be jumping into this. We'll see. Anyway, I got nothing more to say. Like and subscribe. Let's jump into my first time ever reaction to a beginner's guide to the lore of Honkai Star Rail.
If you've clicked this video, you're probably thinking about playing Honkai Star Rail, and if you've seen any of the promotional material, you probably realize that it's a pretty story-heavy game. And story-heavy games tend to have a lot of new stuff to remember, especially sci-fi games, like this one. And
what was the subtitle saying there? One more second, let me rewind. Hold on. What was the subtitle saying?
Have a lot of new stuff to remember, especially sci-fi games, like this one. And that's...
Did I rewind? Don't even remember.
Steep learning curve often makes for a confusing first few hours while you wrap your head around what's going on and
Kafka,
what it all means. But not this time. This time, dear viewer, you have me, Ashikai, lore and theory enthusiast, to assist you in understanding this brand new world of Honkai Star Rail.
Okay, Ashikai, let's go.
So this video is
Educate
a gentle, mostly spoiler-free introduction to the world and lore of Honkai Star Rail.
Sounds like a good
the
video.
general idea here is to help ease you into some new terminology and give some more context
I like
for how
Ashikai's
the world
voice.
in the game works.
It's very
So
like
you're
Watch
not
Mojo,
totally
isn't it?
blindsided and confused or overwhelmed when you pick up the game for the first time. Now, I did say mostly spoiler-free because there will be some minor spoilers for the first hour-ish of the game just because the context is needed. But before we begin, I know a good chunk of you are probably wondering, do I need to play Honkai Impact 3rd to understand the story of Honkai Star Rail? Because, they both have Honkai in the title.
True, they do.
And the truth is, no, you don't.
No, okay.
While playing Honkai Impact may increase your enjoyment of Honkai Star Rail, the two games take place in entirely different universes. So even if characters in Star Rail share looks and names with characters from Honkai Impact, they're not the same people, so you don't need to worry about not knowing their backstories or anything.
Okay.
There is one exception to this rule, though, but we'll talk about him later.
Talk about him later.
But if you are still worried that you might be missing out on some important lore or world building by not playing Honkai Impact, I will start this video by explaining the most relevant part of Hoyo's multiverse setup that carries over from the world building of Honkai Impact. It's short, simple, and it'll probably get explained independently in Star Rail at some point anyway, but here you go.
Here we go, what is it?
Now within Hoyo's multiverse setup, which I will now just call the Hoyoverse, there are two primal forces, the imaginary tree and the Sea of Quanta. So it might be easier to think of them as the Tree of Order and the Sea of Chaos.
Alright, Tree of Order,
It's
Sea of Chaos.
a gross oversimplification, but I think it's easier for the unfamiliar people to conceptualize it this way, since the forces of Order and Chaos are generally at odds with each other, and the imaginary tree and the Sea of Quanta are trying to devour each other, so same kind of concept.
Same concept.
Now,
Tree wants to eat the ocean. Everyone knows this, okay? Science goes back, Animals, rocks, stones, noodle soup, trees eating the ocean. Do I need to say more? I think that will make complete sense.
Metaphorically speaking, the Sea of Quanta is basically this pool of infinite possibilities from which grows this imaginary tree which takes those possibilities and orders them, branching out into countless directions. The leaves that sprout at the end of these branches each contain an entire universe in and of themselves. And
so is this like the galaxy? Is this not like a... So this isn't metaphorical? Is this metaphorical or physical?
Because these universes are part of this imaginary tree, they
Imaginary tree. So it's metaphorical.
all operate based on the laws of the, quote, imaginary. So this imaginary energy from the imaginary tree makes up the basis that is called Honkai in Honkai Impact.
But it's imaginary.
But Star Rail just calls it imaginary energy.
But it's imaginary.
Imaginary energy is pretty important in Star Rail, as eons and paths, which we will go over in a bit, are very powerful entities made up of imaginary energy. It basically makes the world go round.
Okay.
Regardless of how it manifests, though, imaginary energy is likely the reason why Honkai Impact and Honkai Star Rail share the Honkai in their names.
Okay.
But that's really it. That's where the connections between the games end, and where our introduction to the unique world of Star Rail begins. But if
Even though people have told me this, and even though it's been explained loosely and that sort of stuff, I still, to this day, assume that they were heavily connected. I don't know why. I just did. Maybe it is simply because they share the same name. I mean, it'd be like someone saying Call of Duty and then this Call of Duty. You'd be like, well, I assume they're connected. I see. All right.
you're still worried you're missing out on something, I will leave a link to Island XD's guide to Honkai Impact for Star Rail players. Now, let's set all that impact
Maybe
talk
should
aside
we
and
check
get
that guide
familiar
out?
with the world of Star Rail.
Should we check that
Let's
guide
start
out?
by talking about paths. Star Rail's universe is focused on this concept of paths, and those who walk a path are known as path striders.
Okay.
Paths are basically philosophical ideas given some kind of metaphysical form through the accumulation of imaginary energy, which makes them incredibly powerful forces. By believing in and practicing the concepts of a chosen path, a person can draw on the powers of that path and become a path strider. Now, like I said, a path is a philosophical idea or a concept. Those who follow a
Just randomly, that like fight scene made me think of. I've seen like a meme where it's like the difference in playing games, like Genshin Impact, Honkai Impact, and Honkai Star Rail, and it's like the difference. Like I can't remember what game it was, but it was like it's like levels of intensity. One of them is like someone just sleeping and like pressing buttons. The other one was like someone like paying close attention. And the other one was someone like playing like crazy attention, like focus and pressing like a million buttons.
path believe in its philosophy. For example, path striders of the path destruction may believe that the universe is a mistake and therefore must be destroyed.
Okay.
However, mortals are not
Bit
bound
weird.
to any one singular path any more than they are bound to any one way of thinking.
Oh.
If their philosophy changes, their path can change as well. For gameplay purposes, paths manifest as a type of class, if you
So you could. There's literally someone might just be like, I'm on this path. I think the universe should end. I'm on the path to destroy everything. The Thanos path.
will. Those who follow the path of abundance, for example, might be considered to have the class of
What player? What player was that? Is a part of the. I need. Hold on 1 second. The abundance.
Those who follow the path of abundance, for example, might be considered to have the class of a healer or a cleric.
I don't know why, and I don't think this has anything to do with it. But some reason, the abundance path is. I like it. I'm going down that one.
While someone following the path of destruction has abilities more like a fighter or a berserker. Now, if one finds themselves completely committed to a path and manages to explore the deepest parts of it to truly comprehend it in its entirety, they may transcend their mortal form and become something known as an Eon. Now, you'll notice I did not specify that the one ascending had to be human, and that's because they don't. Any sentient life form, whether organic or inorganic, has the capability of becoming an Eon.
So like my border collie could become an Eon. Huh. He's a bit of a dick. I don't think that would be good.
That includes things like artificial intelligence.
AI can become an Eon?
As for what an Eon actually
Bro.
is, they are something like the embodiment or master of a path. While they're not traditional gods, they are beings of godlike proportions. To put it into context, they're kind of like an ocean, while a path strider is a mere droplet of water. And while they are
It's funny how they're like an ocean, but a path strider is like a droplet of water. I bet, and I might be completely wrong here, there are times in the game where these droplets of water somehow defeat the ocean.
ageless, they are not actually immortal, as they can be killed by either another Eon or by ceasing to walk their path.
Oh, and
because remember,
an
they're the
Eon can
embodiment
kill
of
them.
their path. So without their path, they're basically nothing.
Okay.
This means that an Eon is forever bound to their path, and they cannot stray from it. The Eon of Destruction can't just wake up one day and decide to walk the path of harmony, for example.
What would happen if they did? They'd just die.
To become an Eon, you trade your ability to...
Because she said that's how they die. So if they decide to change their paths, they actually die. They can't swap their paths ever.
change for incredible power derived from one singular path. Now, as godlike entities of cosmic proportions, an Eon's interest in mortals may vary, with some Eons choosing to meddle more than others, but ultimately the lives of mortals are small and inconsequential to them.
Do you guys think I would prefer Star Rail or Impact? Like, as which one should I play first? Which one do you guys think I would prefer more? Star Rail looks like it's open world.
Sometimes, though, a person with a powerful affinity or talent within a given path will pique the interest of an Eon. This is known as drawing the gaze of an Eon.
Drawing the gaze.
And those who have been gazed upon by an Eon become something called an emanator.
They get like the side eye.
Like the Eon's will given mortal form. Emanators are extremely powerful and often attract other followers of the same paths. In doing so, they form something called a faction, which is really just a fancy way to group followers of an Eon together under one kind of cohesive label. Now, though factions tend to follow the will of an Eon, forming a faction doesn't necessarily guarantee any sort of special blessing or assistance from the Eon, regardless of whether or not a faction contains an emanator. In the end, factions are just people bound by a common way of thinking, so it's handy to know the philosophy of each Eon and their path in order to understand the goals of their associated factions. Although, since factions are mortal creations, their understanding of their Eon's path can often be twisted or far removed from its original intended meaning.
I'm gonna be honest. This is a very good video. Huge shout out to this channel. This is a very, very good video. It's very easy to follow. I feel like the lore is being nicely explained. I feel like it's clicking. It's like really well done. I obviously haven't played the game, so I don't know for sure. But for me, as a complete newbie, this is really, really nicely put together. It's really simple.
The meaning of things is pretty subjective, after all.
I'm very impressed.
Currently, there are 18 known Eons, but only 7 of these Eons' paths are available to playable characters.
18.
Every Eon will play a role in the story at some point, and
So, if there's 18... Wait, can you have more than one Eon on a path? So, like, let's say the Destruction path. Could you have, like, 6 Eons on this path? Or does each path only have 1 Eon? If that was explained, I missed it. Are they saying there's 18 different paths, but only 7 can be chosen by players, but there's 18?
I will probably make a video going over all 18 at some point, but there are only 2 that we're going to familiarize ourselves with today. Those are Akavili, the Trailblaze, and Nanook, the Destruction. Akavili was one of those rare Eons that enjoyed mingling with mortals. In fact, they're considered to be the Eon that was closest to mortals. They were also responsible for laying down the rails for the Astral Express train system throughout the universe, and they invited mortals to board these trains. Those who did so joined the Trailblaze path and formed the faction known as the Nameless. Akavili would often adventure alongside their Pathstriders, making them very unique among the Eons. But I'm using past tense here because Akavili died in a mysterious accident that derailed the Astral Express and wrecked many of its train cars. Without the Astral Express, the Nameless also vanished.
Wait, I thought they could.
But as luck would have it, one of those broken.
I thought they could only die one of 2 things. So they couldn't. Surely they couldn't die in an accident. They would either have to be killed by another Eon, or randomly decided to change their path. Right?
Trains landed on the planet Himiko was from. She managed to repair it, reforming the Nameless faction and making the Trailblaze path accessible once again. This is the Astral Express train car that we board as a player. Now, rumor has it that Akavili's heart is in the core that powers the Astral Express, and that's what allows the train to travel across the galaxy, but there's no evidence to support that claim. But there must be some level of truth to the nature of the core of the train, if only because without the power of an Eon, travel via the Express would be difficult for just a normal Pathstrider. Unlike the free-spirited and benevolent Akavili, the Eon of Destruction, known by the name Nanook, believes that the birth of the universe was a mistake and desires the destruction of all civilizations.
Fair enough.
Their followers are known as the Antimatter Legion, or just the Legion, and actively attack civilizations with the goal of total annihilation.
Alright, so these guys suck.
Nanook is the one responsible for the distribution of Stellarons throughout the universe, and Stellarons play a huge motivating role in Star Rail's story. So while we don't really understand Nanook's motivations beyond destroy everything, he is a key Eon to pay attention to because of his connection to the Stellarons.
Okay.
So what is a Stellaron?
So this bro just was like, I believe that we should all be dead. I don't understand. Isn't the idea of destroying the universe the idea of destroying existence itself? How can you believe that existence... What benefit is there to anything for existence to be blinked, like, just gone? What's the goal here? What's the benefit? I don't understand. Like, Thanos was like, overpopulation, crazy, done, problem sorted. But this guy, this dude is literally like, everything should be just emptiness and space and nothing, and is all a mistake. What's the benefit to that? What is the benefit? If I suddenly snapped my fingers Thanos style and everything in existence vanished, everything, what did I achieve? I don't understand.
Well, a Stellaron is widely believed to be a seed of
Bro,
destruction
it's crazy.
created and distributed by Nanook, the Destruction.
Okay.
They're also called the cancer of all worlds.
Sounds
These
bad.
seeds fracture reality and spawn rifts that lead to interdimensional spaces called fragmentums, and those attract monsters, so you can see why that would be problematic.
Sounds
The
bad.
genius Herta claims that Stellarons are actually a type of life form, since they do appear to have some sentience and have been known to communicate with those of a certain aptitude. She also claims that Stellarons can tether themselves to an Eon's path, and that they are capable of responding to the cumulative desires of a world or planet that it happens to find itself on. In certain circumstances, it can even fulfill those desires, but that comes at a cost.
Okay.
Stellarons are the seeds of Nanook, after all, and even if they can perform miracles, they ultimately bring disasters. Now, within the first hour or so of the game, we, the player, and the crew of the Astral Express will learn that the Trailblazer has a Stellaron inside of their body, of all places. This is highly unusual, and while it seems to be pretty stable in there, it's too risky for the Trailblazer to stay in any one place for too long. If the
Why?
Stellaron becomes unstable for any reason, they could bring destruction to any ship, space station, or planet that they happen to be on.
That's why.
Luckily, the
Okay.
Nameless aboard the Astral Express are quite experienced in dealing with the Stellaron.
So you can't stay in any one place for too long because you could blow up. Is it like that? The thing there that doesn't really make much sense is, do they mean that you have to stay like off of a planet or away from civilization for long periods of time? Because the way it's worded makes me think that you just can't stay in any one place at all for too long. But if you're jumping from planet to planet, eventually you're gonna blow up a planet. You know what I mean? It doesn't matter where you are. You know what I mean? Like if I had a hand grenade inside of me that could go off at any time, and I was like, right, I gotta stay away from people. But my idea of staying away from people was going from a group of people to another group of people, from another group of people to another group of people. Eventually, I'm going to blow up a group of people. You see what I mean? So that doesn't make any sense. If I had a hand grenade inside of me and I knew it could blow up, I'd fuck off away from everybody. So I don't understand that. Maybe that's been explained a bit weirdly.
Since simply having an unstable Stellaron within range of the train tracks can cause the train to come to a complete stop, and it won't move again until the offending Stellaron has been neutralized.
Okay.
But as long as the Stellaron inside the Trailblazer's body is stable, the Astral Express can move unimpeded.
Okay.
If it becomes unstable, though, well, there are at least people around who can deal with it right away. All in all, the Astral Express is the safest place for the Trailblazer to be.
Okay.
I've mentioned the Nameless faction quite a bit, but I haven't really talked about them individually, so let me rectify this now because as members of this faction ourselves, we'll be spending a lot of time with them. To start, we have the elegant scientist Himiko, also
Himiko.
known as the one who found and repaired the Astral Express, and that kinda makes her the boss. She might
Himiko the boss, huh? Alright.
also look pretty laid back, but Welt says she's extremely driven and may be chasing a very big but unknown dream. Now, she
Two
does
very
share
big
looks and
dreams.
name with a popular character from Honkai Impact, but it's very important to note that they are not the same person.
Two
Next,
big
we have Dan Hung, who's
dreams.
level-headed and clever. He boarded the train to escape a past that he doesn't like to talk about, and he kind of functions as the train's guardian. He says he's running from something or someone, but he can't quite seem to remember what or who it was, so he's never stayed in one place for too long until
Okay.
he came aboard the Astral Express. Like
Interesting.
Dunhung, March
Wasn't that
7th has a bit of a
Eon
foggy
guy?
past. She was found by the Nameless floating through space inside of a big chunk of weird magic ice. She doesn't remember anything about her past, so they just named her after the day that they found her, which was March 7th. She's excitable, carefree, and at times a little bit careless, but you can always count on her for optimism and her trusty camera. Welt is among the oldest members of the Astral Express and is from the planet Earth, a planet that no one else seems to have heard of before.
Earth. Nah, not ringing any bells.
Long after the Honkai threat on Earth had been dealt with, Welt found himself forced to travel into space with a friend to deal with another threat. Unfortunately, his ship passed through a portal and broke down, stranding him until he got picked up by the Astral Express. He's searching for a way
Where's
back
his
home,
friends?
though, but
He said he
until
traveled
then,
with his friends.
he's just kind of chilling.
Where's his friends?
Now, Welt is the
said he
only
traveled with his
character
friends.
who's
Where are they?
actually from the world set in Honkai Impact, and so far, all references to that game are only relevant to his personal backstory. I think it's possible that through Welt, we might learn more about the true nature of the events that occur in Honkai Impact, but I'm not convinced that any of those revelations will be impactful to the story of Star Rail.
I thought they were in different universes. How can they be in different universes if the world that he's from is in the same game? I'm confused.
That said, if you want to learn more about him, most of his really interesting story beats and accomplishments are actually found in comic form. So I'll leave some links to those in the description box if you're interested.
That's kind of cool.
And that leaves us with the player character, the Trailblazer.
The Trailblazer.
The Trailblazer has a pretty well-defined and sassy personality and does have voiced lines throughout the game, unlike some of HoYoverse's previous player characters.
Kind of cool.
The Trailblazer is a character with no known past or family, and in fact, they appear to be completely synthetic, created by a mysterious faction known as the Stellaron Hunters. During the first hour of the game, two Stellaron Hunters, Kafka and Silverwolf, infiltrate Herta's space station and create the Trailblazer as a vessel to house a Stellaron that was being kept by Herta. While their exact motives are unclear, the Stellaron Hunters seem to want the Trailblazer to board the Astral Express in order to reach the end of their story, whatever that means. So with no past, no ties to any planet in particular, and a ticking Eon bomb of unknown purpose in their body, the Trailblazer doesn't really have anything except that singular goal of reaching the end of their story to guide them. Now, this is just speculation on my part, but the Astral Express was created by the Eon Akavili, and Akavili's origin planet is known as Pagana. Pagana is the location where the silver rails of the Astral Express begin and end. So if the Stellaron Hunters want the Trailblazer to follow the path of the Trailblaze and reach the end of their story via the Astral Express, perhaps the Trailblazer's destiny lies in the final destination of Pagana. As for the reasons behind the journey and what they might find when they arrive at the final stop of the Astral Express, you'll just have to play the game and find out for yourself. I, however, will be covering the lore of this game, including story recaps, summaries of in-game materials, character profiles, and so much more, so drop by whenever you need a break from combat. Honkai Star Rail has a ton of compelling characters to meet, stunning locations to explore across the universe, and plenty of mysteries to uncover. And this is just the beginning. So again, my name is Ashikai, and allow me to formally welcome you aboard the Astral Express with nonstop service to, well, anywhere you want to go. So good luck, have fun, and I'll see you next time.
Ashikai, man. Ashikai, one amazing video. Well done. Really liked it. Very simply done. Very nicely done. I feel like it laid out and explained everything in the best possible way you could have done. I really, really bloody enjoyed it. And I also love your freaking voice. You have a voice that's made for this kind of content. You sound fantastic. Love your voice. I don't mean that in a weird way. But yeah, really like cool voice to like listen to. Very well spoken. Ashikai. I'm doing a stretch now. Let me just do the stretch here. You know, I could cut this out, but I'm gonna leave it in. I'm gonna leave it me stretching. I'm gonna get stretchy. Yep, that's comfortable. Oh, that was a good one. Nice. Yeah, there you go, a little stretch. Yeah, Ashikai. Awesome video, well put together, brilliant voice. Keep doing this. You give me like Watch Mojo vibes. I really liked it. Cool. This game is crazy. This game is crazy. So to simplify it even more, you are a bomb. You are a bomb that is... So you are practically a hand grenade that is created by the evil Eon. But we don't know he's evil. He just wants... Well, I mean, destroying the universe is pretty evil. So let's call him evil. Evil dude creates grenades, puts all grenades around the world. Group of people find grenade, go, wouldn't it be cool if we took this grenade and put this inside of a thing that we made? Boom, you're born. Off you go. Don't know what you want to do, but you think, man, I need to continue this journey on this train. I'm gonna go ride this train. Ride train, complete missions, go around the world, solve crime, hunger. I don't know what you do. And at the end of your journey, kaboom, question mark? There you go, done. Someone put that in a short. That's the story of Honkai Star Rail. I feel like after watching this, I kind of love the look of this game even more. I didn't realize how much space-related stuff was going to be on this game, and everyone keeps telling me, but from what I've seen mostly out of demos and trailers and teasers and stuff, it doesn't look very heavily space. It looks more planet-based, and that's something I've noticed. And the space and the train and everything like that seems really cool. Like, the idea of it seems really cool. So I'm actually really curious about all of that and love the idea of exploring it. The thing as well I have a question about. The Astral Express. Is there just one train? The way they would talk... Also, if it's an express train, it sounds kind of slow. The way they were talking about it is like it's one train. But this rail system goes all across the galaxy. Does that mean if I'm on a planet and I want to use the Astral Express, I can't because there's one train. I got to wait for it to loop back around, which it hasn't even done yet. Because they said that the train starts at this planet, goes all the way back to this planet. By the sounds of it, hasn't gone back to that planet yet. Meaning what exactly? Is there just one train? And what, you have to wait like 15 years to get on it? Seems like a bit shit, but I don't know. Does it not work like that? Is there more than one train? I don't know, because they called it the Astral Express, makes me think it's one train. The world looks really cool. I like the idea. The thing that I find curious as well is we're mainly focused on two Eons. The one that created the train, let's call them Fun Eon. The one that wants to blow up the train and everything else. Let's call them Not So Fun Eon. But there's 7 paths in the game that seem relevant. 18 in total, but the other 11 you can't play. So, do each of these paths have Eons? Or do some of them not? Do we find out about them all? That sounds kind of interesting. I know they said they were going to do another video on it, but considering we focus so heavily on 2, I want to know about the rest. Do we not think about those? No? I'm guessing it's going to be similar to Genshin, where the Eons are going to make appearances, but we're not going to know they're an Eon. We'll be chilling with someone, doing some stuff, and then all of a sudden, oh, you were an Eon this whole time? Yes, I'm very powerful, and they'll just blow up something. Overall, brilliant guide, and super curious about Honkai Star Rail. But I have been for a while now. But very well put together guide. Definitely piqued my curiosity. Massively so. Shout out to this channel. Please go check them out. Link to this video is, of course, in their description. So go show them all the love in the world for putting together this incredible video. Their video has nearly broken 500,000 views. So if you haven't watched it, go watch it. Show us some love. Thank you very much for watching. I hope you all have a freaking awesome day. And as always, my friends, you will see me in the next video.